Allora 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, vai!
Well, hello there, partner. Go on and hang up your hat, grab yourself a whiskey, and pull up in the easy chair. We're coming off the range of 9 to 5s with a whole herd of news stories that we've been steaming over like a cow patty in the Texas heat. As they say, the chickens are finally coming home to roost. And we're here to ruffle some feathers and ensure accountability ain't just a concept, it's reality. It's that time where the day's drama casts its longest shadow. So let's light a candle to the chaos of current events, the whirlwind of politics, and the tangled webs of corruption that we find ourselves entwined by. It's time to ramble our way into the twilight. Welcome to Sunset Rants.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sunset Rants. I'm your host Biddy, and it's Wednesday. We're here half the week, over the hump. I'm here with my co-host Valley. What's up, girl?
Hey, I kind of seem like AI today. I apologize. I don't know, like my internet's kind of like lagging a tiny bit. So I swear I'm not a bot, just maybe a Russian asset.
She's real.
I am that Valley girl, your common sense advocate who's never ever wrong. I'm just kidding. But you can find me at right down below, x.com/thecalimelody. Where can we find my fast talking New Yorker at?
Same place, Elizabitty 213A. If you like old movies and random posts, I'm your girl. But yeah,
She
as
has
usual. I did a thing today. I'm trying to garden. It might not go well. I kill everything that I try, but I'm starting with chives. They're in my windowsill. They're looking happy.
Chives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. So follow me if you want to see my gardening escapades. But yeah, we have
It's better than me. Follow Biddy for very wholesome good morning, mental health check-ins, and gardening takes. Follow me for pessimistic takes about the government.
Yes. And we need a healthy dose of both. So follow us both.
We do.
You know, balance.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we have, as always, we have a bunch of stories to get to. So why don't we kick it off with the first article? Oh, yeah. Coming to you from ABC News, White House to conduct review of Smithsonian Museum exhibitions to ensure they fit with Trump's view of American history. I love that headline. Thanks, ABC. The White House plans to conduct a wide-ranging review of the Smithsonian Institution's museum exhibitions, materials, and operations ahead of America's 250th anniversary next year to ensure the museums align with President Donald Trump's view of American history, a White House official confirmed. In a letter sent to Lonnie Bunch, the secretary of the Smithsonian Institution, the White House writes that it wants to ensure that the museums, quote, reflect the unity, progress, and enduring values that define the American story. The White House writes that in accordance with the March executive order restoring truth and sanity to American history that Trump signed back in March, officials will be leading a comprehensive internal review of selected Smithsonian museums and exhibitions. This initiative aims to ensure alignment with the president's directive to celebrate American exceptionalism, remove divisive or partisan narratives, and restore confidence in our shared cultural institutions. So those museums from the Smithsonian, they include the National Museum of American History, the National Museum of Natural History, the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the National Museum of the American Indian, the National Air and Space Museum, the Smithsonian American Art Museum, the National Portrait Gallery, and the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden. In a statement, the Smithsonian Institution said, "The Smithsonian's work is grounded in a deep commitment to scholarly excellence, rigorous research, and the accurate factual presentation of history. We are reviewing the letter with this commitment in mind and will continue to collaborate constructively with the White House, Congress, and our governing board of regents." So, like I said, this is basically coming from, because everything that Trump has signed executive order wise has to kind of be fleshed out. Either they have to go through Congress, pass through his law, or he's going to, make moves that that satisfy those executive orders. This being one of them. I looked up a couple of things in there, but I was wondering if this is something that he just decided needed to be done, or if it was something that triggered it. And I looked back, and it showed that back in February of 2022, there was an executive order called the Advancing Racial Equity and Support for Undeserved Communities Through the Federal Government Equity Action Plan for the Smithsonian Institution. So that, I think, is where I think that's where Trump is aiming to kind of rectify. They've even appointed a head diversity officer to lead the efforts through a program called Our Shared Future: Reckoning with Our Racial Past. So I think that's kind of like what he's trying to square away, because it seems like they were going in a direction of just promoting mostly America Bad, where you can tell the whole story without having like something extremely highlighted. That's just my take on it. What do you think?
I don't know. I 1,000% disagree with this. I think this is overreach. I think this is authoritarianism. I think we need to leave natural history alone. I think that auditing museums, I think you have to be really careful about that, because, reviewing the Smithsonian museums, he's going to, anything that he, thinks is woke in the slightest, right? Even if it's subjectively woke and it's still historical parts of American history, he's most likely going to slash that. And I think that there's a massive difference between, DEI and rewriting history. And I think you have to be very careful with government overreach when it comes to what's going on, right? Because, I'm finding an article from Politico, and it's essentially saying what's driving Trump's attack on museums is that it is divisive to remove exhibits that have been there for decades. I have here actually that this article, Maszewicz, who is a historian at the Polish Academy of Sciences, has seen this playbook before. It said he helped design and operate the Museum of the Second World War in Poland, where, as its director, he sought to shed light on civilians suffering in wartime and document the heavy losses suffered by both the Poles and their allies during World War II. And this is actually coming right out of the playbook of populism, right? So when the right-wing Law and Justice Party took a majority in Parliament as a part of its national rhetoric, they thought that history was just unpatriotic, generally speaking. And, you know, what this person is saying, what this Mashowitz is saying, is that this is something similar that he's seeing in the US now. And it can come across as an order to control the country's historical narrative. And I don't really see how this is too different from like North Korea, to be honest with you.
I understand where you're coming from with that. A lot of this stuff is hearsay because we don't have a full layout of what he's planning to, redirect. Like right now, it's just a review. And that's why I went in to see kind of like what has happened over the past, just 4 years, just everything that went down as far as like DEI appointments and things like that. A lot of the stuff that, because we've covered it over and over again, a lot of the stuff that came with the DEI programs in a lot of institutions wasn't just about, okay, let's hear the whole story. It was more about, you guys should all bow down and be upset and hate America because we have a terrible past and, one that can never be fixed unless every single day we look at it and, you apologize for it. So that's what I think is being kind of like focused on.
Have you been to these museums? Have you been to like the Museum of Man? Have you been to like the like National History Museum? I mean, a lot of it is just kind of a concrete timeline of events that are happening. I don't think that they're spun a particular way. I mean, how do you know that he's not gonna like completely erase the Holocaust, right? I mean,
well, that's the thing. We don't know. We don't even know like what he's planning. Like, we don't know if he's looking at things that have been there for a century or, or however long this has been around, or like decades. It might just be this stuff that I'm talking about that went on over the past 4 years. And the actual changing of the narrative that of like stuff that's already been there. We don't know. Like, again, we don't know. And you're going to hear a lot of journalists come out and, give their take on what they think this looks like, especially when there's like a lot of talk going on about it. Yeah. And anything and everything that Trump does, they're going to try and spin it a certain way. You don't have to agree with everything he says or, even anything. But like, I just feel like I can already see it coming. Like when I saw the article, I was just like, all right, I already know. They're going to start talking about Nazi stuff and, national, like hyper nationalism and like all this other kind of stuff. But again, we like, don't know.
Are they? Yeah, but like at the same time, are they wrong? Right? Like if a president comes in, not even Trump necessarily, just if any president comes in and says these museums aren't patriotic enough, like where do you draw the line? And I think that's something to be very careful of, because when you have historical museums that are audited or taken over, attacked by the federal government, I don't think that's government's place.
Well, I mean, in a way, I mean, they are heavily federally funded. Like more than 50% of their budget comes from federal funds. So they are funded by the government. They're supposed to showcase like, everything actually what went on in this country. And that's totally fine. Like you want to showcase, when the colonies were, started, everything that happened with slavery, everything that happened over time. Yeah, of course. Like, we all know everything went down, and you can definitely have all of that. But when you have somebody like what I was just telling you before, that was appointed as, what was it? The head diversity officer, starting a program called Reckoning with Our Racial Past. That's like an agenda that's put in place to not just tell the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth. That's put in place to say, no, America's bad. Pretty much white people are bad. And you're not going to get away from the bad unless you bow your head and apologize every waking moment. And you have people coming there, and, they're looking at this stuff, and what is it going to say? Like, is that the actual truth? Or is it you're just like hyper highlighting something else? So that's why I think, like, I don't think it's going to be, and again, I don't know. We still don't know what's going to be targeted. It's still just a review. They're asking for everything to come over to find out what's been going on and what programs are in place. And we'll see what they look at. I mean, there were monuments that were torn down all over the country, like a lot of stuff that, and across the country. A lot of that happened over the past 4 years. And it was like people were just, crapping all over America, our own people. So I think, there has to be a fine line. But I do agree that if it's like definitely targeted in a way where it's like you hide everything and you make things seem like they're not as bad as they were, then yeah, there's something wrong with that. But let's tell the truth on both sides,
Yeah, I mean, it looks like our chat is pretty split on this. I mean, you have one person saying that, the Smithsonian has destroyed billions in artifacts. I would need to see examples of that. I'm more of an agreement from the libertarian standpoint, which it looks like Malgara seems to be on a similar page, where he's saying, we shouldn't be empowering the state to make these decisions at all because they are subjective decisions. This is, to me, auditing museums would be to further a specific agenda. I don't think it would be from a non-biased approach to make sure that Americans are getting all the facts. I don't have enough trust in the government for that.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm hoping that the target on it is to have it as like this is what the actual truth is, and we're not going to lean one way or the other. We'll show it to you. These are the facts of what went down, and you come up with your own decisions on what you feel about that.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's just sad because, a lot less people are reading like actual history books. A lot of people, get history now from podcasts, from audiobooks, from visiting museums. And so it's ChatGPT, which, even
take that with a grain of salt.
Even going from like ChatGPT, which is owned by, OpenAI, Sam Altman, to Grok with Elon Musk, and they have that whole feud on X, which is a whole other thing. But, even going between those two sources, there's going to be a huge discrepancy. So, once the government takes control of what you see and hear, to me, that's authoritarian. And that is something, as of right now, makes me very skeptical.
Yeah, and I also would say the executive order that was in 2022 was authoritarian as well. You signed an executive order to implement an equity and inclusion program in our history museums, as if like the history of our country wasn't already out on display.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's kind of like, you can agree with both. I don't agree with like that.
We need balance. Yeah.
But I think a better approach would to have something like independent third party come in and do an audit. I think something like that would be like a better suggestion.
All right, well, we'll see we'll see how it goes. We'll see what comes out of all of this. I think they have something like 30 days to respond to the letter request, and then a couple of months afterwards to submit like all the information. Let's see. They're going to be looking into online content, artist grants, museum exhibition planning, and messaging.
Yeah, I think I read they're already going to go ahead with it, right? Or do we not have that answer yet?
They kind of gave like a diplomatic answer in that
Yeah.
quote that I was saying before, is like, you know, we're deeply committed to scholarly excellence and we're going to continue doing that in our response to this request, kind of thing. So it's like, all right. But yeah, let's see. What do we got up next?
Okay. So we are going to, the CNN story. Do you want me to pull that one up?
Sure. You got it.
Just need about, 10 seconds.
10.
I feel like no, like it's up, but like honestly, with the combination of like my screen lagging, like and the accident that happened a couple months ago with my baby laptop, like I feel like it might be slowly pooping out on me. I'm not gonna lie. I know. Okay.
Well, thankfully your voice is not.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. So my mic and everything sounds good?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. So CNN appeals court, allows Trump to continue ending foreign aid grants. But for who? Not for Israel. Okay. So the only legislative branch that can sue a presidential administration for making changes to congressionally approved budgets, the federal appeals court in D.C. ruled after looking at President Donald Trump's administration ending planned grants for foreign aid. The decision empowers the Trump administration to refuse to spend budgeted money, and it will make it much harder for outside entities that don't already have contracts with the federal government to challenge the president's decisions, even in spite of Congress' power of the purse. This decision allows Trump to continue with his wind down of foreign aid grants. The U.S. D.C. District Courts of Appeals panel, voting 2-1, interpreted the law around the Impoundment Control Act, which regulates the action of a president to delay or withhold funding that has already been appropriated by Congress in the federal budget. In that case, grant recipients sued over access to almost $4 billion for global health and more than $6 billion for HIV/AIDS programs were appropriated by Congress to be dispersed by the State Department and are now essentially shuttered by USAID. So $4 billion for global health and more than $6 billion for HIV and AIDS programs. That's insane. Circuit Judge Karen Henderson, in the opinion, wrote that the record is simply less developed on how long these grants would survive if they can't compete for foreign aid grants in the future. Lauren Bateman of Public Citizen Litigation Group, as the lead attorney for some of the grantees that sued, said on Wednesday her organization would seek further review from the court. So in the meantime, countless people will suffer disease, starvation, and death from the administration's unconscionable decision to withhold life-saving aid from the world's most vulnerable people. Let's see. The court noted that the federal government has paid substantially all of the amounts owed on existing contracts for work. So essentially, they're just not like, giving any more
opening anymore.
Yeah. Henderson, a Reagan appointee, wrote in the opinion, it does not make sense that the Congress would craft a complex scheme of interbranch dialogue but sub saliento also provide a backdoor for citizen suits at any time without notice to the Congress of the alleged violation. Someone needs to explain that to me like I'm 5. I don't know. It's our responsibility to check the president when he violates the law. So basically, Trump is going ahead and making these decisions.
He's freezing funds that were appropriated by Congress, which he has he has a way to do it, but the only person, because the reason why it was thrown out is because the people that brought it were like NGOs and stuff like that who brought the suit against us. They don't have legal standing to do so. The only person that does is the general comptroller for Congress. So that's why it was thrown out. And unless he decides to do it, or is set to do it, this is not going to go anywhere.
I think I would need a breakdown of what that $4 billion in health looks like, right? Because
Agreed.
I'm all for slashing government funding, but $4 billion in health, when we already have a lot of veterans that do not have health care. I mean, like the VA is like awful when it comes to healthcare. Either way, foreign aid must go. But I do think there needs to be some more transparency when it comes to that.
And that's another thing too, right? When you think about it, is like, because we talked about this months ago when this was all kind of like coming out, with Doge and, everything that they uncovered, is that we need to see a statement of where everything is going. We need to see if like the aid that we're paying for, the prices aren't getting inflated just because they know Big Daddy America is paying for it anyway. Like, or if they're actually using all of this money, or is it slipping into dignitaries' pockets? Like, we don't know. It's just been kind of like a thing that's just like, all right, well, we'll just reconciliate. We'll just keep going. Just keep signing it. Just keep sending. How much did we send? We can send the same amount. We have that budget. And it's like, okay, but do they need it? Where is it going? Is it actually helping? Like, what kind of programs are we let's just send money and hope for the best, So I think that's like a big part of it too. Oh, hey, Funkmaster General. Thank you so much. We got a super chat from him. I don't know if it came up on the screen yet, but he said only the hardiest men and fairest beauties will read this text. Good evening, nation. Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. That's funny. But yeah, so like that's the part, like the biggest part that I agree with all of this is like, and I've said this before, it's like when you have this money just like bleeding from our budget, and it's like, all right, can we just like take a second, just stop sending money, stop everything. What exactly is this going for? Like, let's just kind of reassess everything. And then like in the meantime, as he's going, okay, we need to take a step back and figure this all out. We got, people on the left and, the politicians rather, that are just kind of like, oh, well, people are going to die and like all of this stuff. And he's got to go through the courts and come back and forth. And it's just like, all right, but we actually do really need to know what the heck's going on. Like, we found so much that came out from the Doge audit, as far as USAID and like money that was being sent for like Sesame Street and I don't know, Pakistan or Iraq, I forgot where it was, or like transgender studies and like these other places. And just like, it's like, bro, like what is going on? And then we're over here like we can't pay for things, and we're like, we know why, because our taxes are so high, and we need to figure out like how we're going to get that lower. And there's many different things. There's the Federal Reserve. There's this money that's just bleeding out. There's these programs that have been started, as like the DEI programs and all this stuff that are being funded by the government.
Yeah.
And on and on and on and on.
One thing that I will give Trump props on is not directly connected to this article, but we're talking about how there's so many Americans that are struggling, and you heard Caroline Levitt today say like, we are going to force homeless people into shelters or into rehabilitation centers, and like the left is losing it because they're basically saying like, you are forcing people into camps. Like, look, I don't know if you live in a metropolitan city,
right?
Like, but we do. And we see free needles being given out. We are seeing,
People getting out.
people being drummed. We are seeing
Mhm.
people freezing on the streets. We are
Mhm.
seeing, a good chunk of people trying to get back on their feet, but they're surrounded by these, bad influences, easy access to, you know, anything they can get their hands on. Right.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so if we're going to cut funding to allocate more funding to fixing the homeless problem, that is something I can get behind.
Yeah, and a lot
But
of it too is like slash mental health too.
I just don't want it to affect, everyday Americans that have like pre-existing healthcare. I don't want it to, affect the poor and not the billionaires. Or the middle class Americans, right? So it's like I just would like more transparency now. And as far as cutting the billions of dollars to the HIV and AIDS research, this also comes at a time where in October the Supreme Court is talking about you know voting on I forgot the name of the case, but potentially overturning a gay marriage. Like I don't know. I don't know if this is all connected. I just, I don't know. I would like to know why these things are being cut and where the money is being allocated to instead. Because if our national debt is rising and we're cutting these programs, then is that going to affect the debt, or are we still going to be spending more than we're cutting?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. We definitely haven't seen the debt go down. I think it did go over like $37 trillion officially
Okay.
recently.
Massey has like a counter.
I know, I know, I
There's like a
know. I
live counter
seen
on his
it.
back right now.
He has like a thing made that he wears on his lapel and he walks around
Yeah.
Congress with it. It's
Yeah.
actually hysterical. But yeah, like listen, you live on the West Coast in an area that you probably do see, if you go out of like your surrounding area, you'll see a ton of homeless. There's been so much crime, and a lot of it is linked to the people that are on the street, because even though they do get Medicaid, a lot of them are severely mentally ill, and they you got to get them to the doctor in hopes that they're going to get some kind of therapies or any kind of medication that can help them, or they're just going to be out there roaming around, and a lot of them are just preying on everyday people just walking the streets, because they're for whatever reason, a lot of it they're extremely angry at anybody who's just walking around just trying to live their life. So we can't just allow like just all of this to continue where they're just laying on the train seats and whatnot. And I saw a video where some guy, I think it was in the UK though. Yeah, I think it was in the UK. But he was just like he had his pants down and he's just like in the middle of the thing, and like all of these guys came and like jumped on him or something. But you seen that?
Well, I don't know if I've seen that one specifically, but like lately my TikTok algorithm is like basically how Europe has fallen. It is, the UK specifically, like in London and in Manchester, and then you have Berlin, and then you have Frankfurt, and then now you have Stockholm in Sweden. And you are having these places that Angela Merkel in Germany has destroyed. You have the UK that has a very large transient and immigrant issue. What I was going to say in regards to Medicaid, though, is a lot of homeless people, a lot of immigrants have Medicaid. A lot of homeless people actually do not, because you do need an address. You do need an address. And
Well,
you
if
do
they're
need
if they're in a
verification.
shelter, they can, because we get a lot of calls at work. So
Right, but
like if they're in the shelter, they
it's
still
renewed
have their
every
Medicaid.
year. Yeah, and like it's renewed every year. But like, let's just say someone hasn't been in the system for like 5 years. They're most likely going to just end up in the ER. And then if they end up in the ER, they actually don't need insurance because the ER will take anyone regardless of if they have insurance or not.
They
And if
get
they don't have a
emergency
billable
Medicaid
address,
that's funded
well,
by
yeah,
Medicaid. Hmm.
right. And if they don't have an address, they're still going to get treated, and then they're just going to go back out on the street.
Yeah, I mean, every state is different. So like we have, like if they go into the emergency room, they get put on emergency Medicaid. That's not accepted in our clinics, in the clinics. Like, it's emergency Medicaid is strictly for
right.
hospital.
Mhm.
But what happens is there's social workers that are in the hospitals that, work to help them get onto Medicaid. I've even had somebody who barely had any demographics in their medical chart, and they were getting put on Medicaid or some kind of like, scale program. So they do have avenues for them. But the thing is like you have to go. They're not just going to come on the street and grab you up and say, we're going to take you to the hospital. It's like, if they're avoiding it, they're not going to get the help. But they're, a lot of them, some of them are just minding their own business, but there's a lot more people that are out there that are terrorizing people. And it's because they need help. They, and you can't just expect something different to happen if you keep the same like MO. But, hopefully it's not, like you said, going into like, the regular everyday Americans where it's like if you have some kind of like, mental disorder, they're going to, push you, if you're like schizophrenic and you're on medication and you're just going about your life, they're going to come over and say, well, you got to be committed because you're schizophrenic. That's like old school asylum stuff. So I'm like hoping that's not
like
the case.
phlebotomy status.
I think it's more of like the former, but again, another thing we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I feel like the first administration where we focused on giving more power to the states, I just agree with that almost always. I think the less government overreach, the better. To be devil's advocate, sometimes you need a good old push to get yourself into treatment.
Yeah, and hopefully it comes with like actual treatment and not just medication, like therapies and helping them get their legs kind of stronger to maybe encouragement of jumping back into the swing of things. What does that look like
in the system, right?
Yeah, because a lot of insurances, they barely cover regular therapy. It's more of like the medication stuff, and that's it.
Yeah.
But let's see what's going on with China. And from The Guardian, we got U.S. warships patrol South China Sea after 2 Chinese ships collide. The U.S. has briefly deployed 2 warships in the disputed South China Sea shoal, where 2 Chinese ships collided earlier in the week while trying to drive away a smaller Philippine ship in a high seas accident that raised alarms about maritime safety. Both China and the Philippines claimed Scarborough Shoal and other outcroppings in the South China Sea. Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan also lay overlapping claims in the contested waters. The USS Higgins, a guided missile destroyer, and USS Cincinnati, a littoral combat ship, were shadowed by a Chinese Navy ship while sailing about 30 nautical miles from the Scarborough Shoal. There were no reports of any untoward incident. Commodore J. Tariella of the Philippine Coast Guard said, citing information from the U.S. officials in Philippine surveillance flight. There's a history in the area. I had to pull it up because it's like a whole big thing. The atoll is a disputed territory claimed by the Republic of the Philippines through the Treaty of Washington in 1900 via the 1734 Velarde map, as well as by the People's Republic of China and the Republic of China Taiwan. The atoll's status is often discussed in conjunction with other territorial disputes in the South China Sea. So from what I've heard is like basically China is trying to claim certain areas of the sea, and they're building like makeshift land, and having like Chinese soldiers and military personnel like posted up there. And the Philippines had like a coast guard, and they're out on the sea, they're doing their thing, whatever they're doing, and these two Chinese ships were trying to like kind of push them out of the area, and in doing that they ended up colliding with each other. And it's like it's like, what are you doing? Like, and the funny thing is that like even after that attempt, because China's basically trying to debo those waters with like in reckless doing so. So the Philippine Coast Guard offered assistance to Chinese personnel. The PCG extended humanitarian assistance, including support for crew recovery and medical aid for any injured personnel. So it's like they saw what China was doing. It didn't work out. And then they're like, oh, do you guys need any help? Like, we got medical aid here. It's like, wow. But yeah, the Chinese vessels were attempting to drive the Philippine Coast Guard away from that area. I don't know what they're trying to commandeer a lot. What else is new? More nations trying to get as much more land and territory as they possibly can. And
that's essentially politics in a nutshell, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
Let's see if there's go ahead. Did we pull up any of the X hashtags on there? Let's see.
No, but we can look for some.
I know, I just pulled it up.
I know there's something that I read earlier, and I said to myself, write it down. And I'm like, no, I'll find it in this sea of words.
The sea of words. Oh, it's not letting me. Okay, I can't get to X at the moment.
Yeah. The Chinese Navy ship sustained deep dents, what appeared to be linear gushes on its hull. Japan, Australia, New Zealand expressed alarm on Wednesday over the dangerous maneuvers that led to the collision in the busy waters, a key global trade route. Japan upholds the rule of law and opposes any actions which increased tensions are concerned because of the repeated actions in the South China Sea. Australian embassy in Manila expressed concern about the dangerous unprofessional conduct of China.
This has like been going on for years, right? Like I just like happened to search the title, like China is still causing trouble, U.S. Navy responds. You have U.S. Navy responds after China claims American warship illegally intruded into the waters near the second Thomas Shoal in 2017. June 2nd of this year, U.S. warship challenged Beijing's South China Sea claims. June 4th, U.S. claims China's bluff by developing warships. September 19th, 2024, U.S. Navy releases strategy to counter China. I mean, it's just...
Oh, yeah, look at this one. If you scroll down, Brian, just a little bit, that July 18th post. 2 Chinese Navy ships, 3 China Coast Guard ships, and at least 5 Chinese maritime militia vessels are blocking a single Philippines Coast Guard ship near Scarborough Shoal inside Philippines EEZ. But according to China, Philippines is stirring tension in the region.
Deflection.
Right. Oh my goodness. So I guess so we're just kind of, I guess, going over there, regulating the seas and making sure that our allies are not getting deboed by China. Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. You want to tell us about the next story?
Yeah, let me pull it up. Are we doing the Foxy story? Okie dokes. One moment.
The ball of swirling light. This is actually interesting. You can imagine the conspiracy theory. Yes.
Basically, it was a meteor shower expected to peak, which had many stargazers searching the sky. However, what they saw wasn't that. It was an unusual light spotted around 10:30 p.m. by viewers around Northeast Ohio. Many asked, what was it? Astronomer Jay Reynolds explains that the swirly lights are likely the result of a rocket launch and its vapors reflecting off of a combination of sunlight and moonlight. Depending on the inclination of the rocket and its intended orbit, it will indeed leave a swirly cloud of vapor. Kind of cool. It kind of reminds me of like oh my gosh,
Northern Lights. No.
Like one of those like wheelie things.
Oh, the fidget spinners.
No,
I don't know.
Like we used to ride around. Like we used to ride around in, not like the Razor scooters, but like the two-wheeler things.
Is that a Segway?
Do you know what I'm talking about? Whatever.
It is, right? It's a Segway. Yeah, it's like the little step that you stand with the wheels, and you can kind of
yeah. The light was reported as far as Ontario, Canada, and UFO enthusiasts says it's aliens.
Oh yeah, we got aliens, we got angels. People talking about conspiracy theories and stuff. But this isn't the first time that this has been seen in the sky, and even not the first time this year. I actually put a link in the chat, Brian, if you'd like to bring it up. It's from the UK, and it's from March 25th of this year. That the same picture, the same exact thing, spiral lights up in the sky. But there's an official explanation. It's basically like the same explanation that we're hearing here. That it was results of a SpaceX rocket launch that happened more than 4,000 miles away. According to the Met Office, fumes from the rocket froze and left a spiral that could be seen in the sky. So, yeah, this one right here. Look, it's like the exact same thing. So whatever's going on, it's happening everywhere. Listen, if the aliens are coming to get us in November, like I said this before, I'm not moving. So just
take
like
me.
Come and take me. Yeah, like I'm too old for that. Just like if you're gonna come and abduct us.
Yeah, I mean, but did you hear? So Paulina Luna was on Joe Rogan, and she said like,
go ahead.
Well, I didn't listen to it. I just like saw that like she said they were like hiding in the waters or something.
Oh no, I wanted to watch it. I saw like a little clip.
Why are you hiding in the water?
Interdimensional beings. Something. I don't know, but I did hear that when they were talking about Congress in Congress about it. They were just like, because there was a something, I think like, you know, submariners, they were down in the depths of the water, and like the amount of pressure, there was something that passed by that was going like way too fast for the pressure that was down there. So, you know, there has been talk about the waters, and then, you know, it spawns like so many conspiracy theories, like especially on TikTok when like people talk like they get into the more spiritual realm of things and they talk about like, you know, aliens are probably, you know, angels and demons, most likely, you know, the demons, and something spans back to, you know, when Jesus did an exorcism on this guy who had like several demons inside him. They asked to be put into a pig. The pig jumped off the cliff. Don't come for me. I'm not good at this. But like that's basically what people are stemming towards, is like why there's possibly demons in the water. And then they're saying that the aliens that are being found are the demons. But it's wild. I mean, stuff like this.
Maybe I'm a lot more of a normie than I thought, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, it's like, it depends on what For You page you end up on, actually, because sometimes like I'll pull up in it with the facts or facts or whatever. But and then sometimes I'm just like, I can't remember if like when I end up on like a true crime For You page or like, you know, cooking one. But yeah.
I welcome our new alien overlords. Real.
Yes. All right. So are you ready for our palate cleanser? Comment
Comment
section
section
leader.
leader.
Yeah, Mulgara. I think it's time for caption this.
Let's do it.
While we wait for that
Maybe.
to come. I just decided I'm going to do a little dance break in the middle. Okay. All right. So here is our caption for the day, or our AI generated photo. We ask you, the audience, if you're new, to please join in and participate and give us a funny caption for this image. And at the end, Valley and I will choose which one we think is the funniest. So take it away, chat. I can't think
Let's
of
go.
anything. Let's go. Don't put me in charge of other people.
Okay, let's see.
X-Files. Let's see.
Maybe the aliens will end the Fed. Okay, you know what? That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I'm gonna trademark that. Can I trademark that, Mulgara? Can I steal that? Help the
Hey,
Valley
Jennifer.
Girl Fund?
Oh, look, a flame hot Cheetos from the sky.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's see.
That's someone trying to open a portal, 100%. Yeah, that's another thing that people talk about, because they talk about CERN and, you know, them trying to find the God particle and possibly opening up portals to other dimensions. And
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's another distraction.
like that was for you.
Yeah, I actually believe that's the case. So
Probably.
yeah.
Where is the media shower? I
Anything
always
to
miss
get
it.
us
I've
away
never
from the
seen
Epstein
one.
Files.
Yeah. Anything.
Anything and everything.
Say something funny to win a t-shirt. Aw. You very frequently say stuff that's funny, Doug. Trademark away.
Agree, Romanation. Agreed.
Another day, another week that Epstein didn't count. Anti-Fed aliens. When you wish upon a star, it makes no difference who you are. Aww. CERN freaks
That's
me out.
very,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, there's like this theory I have, like, if it's true that they're opening up portals, like, what if that's what's happened to the Malaysia flight? What if they were like tinkering around and they opened up like a wormhole and Malaysia's flight just went phew, right inside?
Oh, damn.
Okay, let's see.
Trademark away. Yes. Claimed it.
Universes. Oh, yeah, we definitely, it's kind of like we're in the upside down for sure.
Mm-hmm. One hundo.
Now I can't tell, like, who's giving us captions and who's just chatting. I can't tell. Do you have a favorite yet?
Anti-Fed
Well,
aliens.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
screenshotting that.
What was? Oh, maybe aliens can. What was it? Where is it? Maybe the aliens will end the Fed. I think that was the one.
Yeah, presents. Maybe the aliens will end the Fed. Hold on, I have to scroll up. You guys are really active. I have to like scroll all the way up here.
Yeah. Remember when Don Lemon speculated the black hole swallowed the Malaysia flight? Dude is barely functional. Actually, I don't know. I would love to hear his take on that.
Wait, did he really?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Don Lemon, so crazy.
No, I don't care if you have the trademark. I'm stealing that one too, Mulgara.
Artie says, where's this dang tow truck? That's funny. see.
Don Lemon did
Hey,
say that.
Winston, welcome.
Wait, where's the clip? I want to see the clip of him saying that.
I'll find the clip and send it somewhere. Oh, that's good.
Okay.
We'll look for it somewhere.
I mean, it's probably pretty easy to like pull up, right? Like
Probably.
Don Lemon,
Yeah.
Malaysia flight.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me see. Don Lemon.
Wow, for a second I couldn't spell Malaysia, and I spelled it wrong.
Yeah, he did a whole ass interview on it.
Oh, it says he read a whole.
Wait.
He read a pair of
No,
tweets
now
he
I don't
received
see
from
it.
viewers suggesting the plane's disappearance could be the result of a black hole, Bermuda Triangle, or an occurrence akin to the television series. But did he say it was like because of CERN, or he just said like black hole?
I doubt he would say it was because of CERN.
Yeah. I think it like I don't know if it's like black hole stuff. I think it's like wormhole stuff. But anyway, who knows? Well, we'll probably never know. I wonder if we'll ever. Yeah, I wonder if we'll ever know which came first, the chicken or the egg.
I know.
The world may never know.
I mean, it had to have been the chicken.
Had to, right? You mean the fire out probably by hijacked by last text when the plane was verified. Oh, Jen, I have no idea. I can't read that. You mean the fight? I don't know. Okay, so what are we going with? I like the one that you chose. The maybe aliens will end the Fed.
Yeah. Or
I don't even know where it is, but I like that one.
Or what's the other one that I took a picture of? Anti-Fed aliens.
I like the first one because it's kind of like he's looking up and like dreaming about it.
Yeah. It's mine now though, so I'm just letting you know.
Okay. So are we in agreement on that one, or should we do a poll for like those two to see which one is the better one?
I'm in agreement.
In the first one? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So congratulations, Mulgera. Maybe the aliens will end the Fed. We can only hope, sir. And like Valley said, that'll look great on a t-shirt. So hopefully you win the next championship phase, which we are going to be doing that. We already selected our first 4 from the first quarter. And we're going to be working on doing some kind of poll in the Discord. So if you want to be a part of that, definitely join the Discord. You can use the Q&R code up at the top of the screen here. It'll bring you right to our website, riseofmiddleamerica.com. You can join the Discord there. You can see all of our shows, all of our hosts. You can get our merch there as well, which also will be where we display the winner of the Caption This. The t-shirt with the picture and the caption that won, and who won it. So
I haven't seen Riz's yet. And I haven't seen Gargi's yet.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Cuties.
My mom thinks I'm funny. That's so cute. Yeah, you guys, but as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you again on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, same place. Of course, we have T&D tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. And if you guys are still around, please stick by for the Roma Sports. It's going to be starting at 10:30 p.m. right here, either on Rumble, YouTube, or X. And you can watch that show with AK, Navasa, and Gargi. So, get a snack. You have time now, about 30 minutes to chillax, and I'll be seeing you guys in the chat.
Okie doke.
Have a great night, you guys. Thank you, Valley.
Have a good week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
So I got to thinking, there's MAHA, Make America Healthy Again. MAGA, Make America Great Again. But what we really need to do is make America follow the Constitution again. Motherfucker. That sounded better in my head.